Because the same thing takes a while too.
Same idea.
Let me hop on the moderator.
All right, let me get this on here.
¿Qué tal? Buenos días.
Starting to get some people on, right? Wonder if there's no way to move this closer here. Let's see, I can probably see we have a disaster on our hands. Here we go. Bam, there we go. That's better. I think we're on both, right? Yeah. We got dual screens going here.
Yeah, here we go right there.
Cool. Getting some people on.
Do you have a store or something? ¿Qué tal? Buenos días. En este miércoles, ombligo de la semana, Dani Luna, aquí estoy con la abogada de inmigración Andrew Thomas en la oficina de Dallas. Recuerden, la consulta es gratis, cada caso es completamente diferente. Ahorita vamos a empezar a contestar algunas preguntas, algunos comentarios. Hola María, hola la gente de... Estamos en Facebook y estamos en TikTok a la misma vez. Recuerden que el abogado está en las diferentes redes sociales. Búsquenlo como Attorney Andrew Thomas. Ahí pueden ver los testimonios de los clientes y por supuesto más información. Y como les he comentado por varios años, cada caso es completamente diferente. Así que si vio que a la vecina le pasó esto, a usted le puede pasar totalmente diferente. Así que es mejor programar esa consulta de inmigración que es gratis al 1-800-511-3939. Síganlo en las redes sociales para que usted mismo y misma vea los testimonios, vea la gente que viene a recibir sus permisos de trabajo, le ayudan con la ciudadanía y mucho más que está cambiando en la Corte de Inmigración. María, Chapi, so we have a lot of people on TikTok on that side. Hola.
Nice.
Okay, perfecto.
All right, so we got Detroit in the house. That was a mouthful you just said.
I know. Can you translate that?
Yeah. You just rattled it right off for everybody out there.
Ahora, mi gente, como les comenté, años trabajando con el abogado de inmigración Andrew Thomas, con oficinas en Dallas, Houston, San Antonio. Como siempre, la gente viene aquí porque saben la experiencia que él tiene cuando trabajó en la Corte de Inmigración. Cada caso es completamente diferente. What's happening right now en la Corte de Inmigración, abogado? ¿Qué está pasando?
Yeah. So we get a lot of questions on that. So that is one of the biggest areas we see in immigration that changes from time to time. When you're talking about changing for like residency process, that takes more of an act of Congress. So you don't see much movement there. But courts, those things can be changed just with an election or with just a change in policy. So we see a lot of different things year to year, even month to month sometimes that the courts do, maybe allowing cases to potentially get dismissed, not dismissed at all, which we were dealing with for a while under the last presidential administration. Things change. So a case never stays the same. People are in court for years a lot of times, especially if they're going to put forward some kind of relief or something like that. They're in court for a very long time. So policies could go through several shifts during that you may or may not be able to take advantage of. So you just never know how things work. What you heard 6 months ago might not be true now. So it's just something you got to keep in touch with.
La Corte de Inmigración está cambiando. Siempre, si a una persona se le puede ayudar en 6 meses, puede pasar más tiempo para otras personas. Why does that happen? I've noticed that I've seen on social media, on your social media, some people have come to your office and in 9 months, for example, they have received their work permit, and other people have to wait. Is it because every single case is different?
Yeah, it really is. So there's a lot of timing issues, and they're not always. Well, they're usually not in our hands. A lot of times it deals with when the client arrived in the United States, what position they're in, if they've made any filings before coming to us, if they're even eligible for certain types of things that other people are not. So it really is. I know we say it all the time. Every case is different. But, I mean, it's true, especially when you're talking about immigration court cases. Let me say one thing on TikTok here. If you guys are joining us, let's see some likes on that. What do we have? 60 likes. We got to get those up. Let's get them boosted. Let's see the likes going up. My man Danny Luna in the house. He's our radio spokesman here in Dallas.
And by the way, I'm really tall. I'm just trying to be,
Maybe I'm standing on a couple of phone books here.
Siempre hace lo mismo el abogado, siempre es más alto que yo. Pero estamos en las oficinas de Dallas, como han escuchado por varios años, que he sido el portavoz de las oficinas de Dallas, del abogado de inmigración Andrew Thomas. Cada caso es completamente diferente. Hemos visto casos de personas que han recibido este permiso de trabajo, han recibido ese seguro social. Now, there's been questions that I've seen on social media that, we see kids receiving a work permit and people don't understand, like, why is a kid receiving a work permit?
Right.
¿Por qué un pequeño está recibiendo un permiso de trabajo? Why is that? How does that occur?
I mean, yeah, there are child labor laws. But what I'll say is, it's not, so it is called an employment authorization document. It's not just to work. It is a federal ID. And that has a lot of uses to it. I mean, obviously, at the same time, you can apply for a Social Security card, which has a lot of uses. We know, not just work.
Correct.
But also every state's different, but let's say here in Texas, you can use that federal ID to now get a state ID. So once they turn 16, they can get a driver's license. But before that, you can just get a regular state-issued ID they can use to go to school, can use to enroll in programs. Before that, they have no idea at all. So it works as an ID, not just a work permit. So for, obviously, minors, they're not going to work. But
Correct.
so much value in that. And if they're eligible for it, I don't see why you wouldn't do it.
Recuerden, si tienen una pregunta cuando se trata de este caso, de este tema específicamente, es mejor programar esa consulta de inmigración que es gratis. 1-800-511-3939, número que por años he mencionado, ya la gente se lo sabe. 1-800-511-3939. La gente en Facebook, en TikTok, recuerden, es importante compartir este tipo de videos porque en las redes sociales del abogado Attorney Andrew Thomas, él comparte los testimonios, comparte lo que está pasando en la Corte de Inmigración y todo siempre está cambiando, y cada caso es diferente. Recibimos casos de gente, de familias en otros estados. Now, is everything the same when it comes to people living in Texas? So let's say you get a case from other state. Is it always the same thing, or is it going to vary by state? That's an important question that people are always asking on social media.
I would say, for the most part, the same, because it's federal law. So we're dealing with federal law, which means we're able to practice across the state. So we're able to practice in every U.S. jurisdiction because it is a federal law. There are some state nuances when you're talking about sometimes minors, when they're dealing with maybe a parent abandonment, you have to do a state filing. But for immigration purposes, almost the whole thing is uniform. Some courts have their own policies, but we can practice in all of them. And we do take clients from all over the United States. So if you guys are joining us anywhere and you're not in the immediate vicinity and you want to do a phone consultation or virtual, just look us up, attlaw.com, or give us a call. We can set that for you.
There's a comment here that I was looking. My DACA expired.
I got it. My DACA expired, and am I able to renew? Can this affect a marriage petition? So that's a good question. So with DACA, right? So that's a lot of questions we have about the DACA, DREAM Act. So they're not taking new applications. That's under an injunction. We know that. People with DACA, yes, you can renew it. Even if it's expired, you can still renew it up to about a year after expiration. Okay, so if it's just expired, please go ahead and renew it, because they're not going to, after a certain point, they're going to treat it as a new application and they're going to deny it. So you want to keep that going. If you're going for residency, keep your DACA current, because that's the way you have a work permit, and your residency might take a long time. We know processing times are longer and longer. So keep that bird in the hand while you're moving forward for your residency. Let me do this. Frankie, you're getting issues with memory on your phone.
Hello, I received my I-475 approval. Can't read it, I'm sorry. I had to get closer. March 8th, how long until I receive my green card?
Let's see.
That was coming out from...
There was an approval March 8th?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So, I would say relatively soon then. If you've got the approval for the 485, and you've got the adjustment, let's see. Frankie got that. Memory thing keep going on here. I would say soon. I would say in the next month or so you should be getting that, or your attorney, or whoever you got.
If my kids receive Medicaid, can that affect me when I file for a green card?
So anytime you're talking about like some kind of public benefits, you have to look at who's receiving those things. A lot of times when you're saying your kids get those, that's for their benefit, and I'm assuming they're U.S. citizens. So no, it's not going to affect you as a resident. They're a U.S. citizen. They're entitled to those programs. Let's keep doing here.
1-800-511-3939 para cualquier pregunta, para cualquier consulta de inmigración. Es mejor programar esa consulta con tiempo para que platique con el abogado y su equipo. Recuerde que tiene oficinas en Dallas, Houston, San Antonio.
So, wife got pregnant after filing an I-130. Do I need to do anything? No. So you don't need to do anything. No updates or anything, because the petition's for her. It's not for, the child born here will be a U.S. citizen, doesn't need any immigration applications or anything. Obviously, when you're going to go for an interview later, whether that's consular processing or an adjustment interview, they're going to look at bona fides, and that'll certainly go into that.
Okay, vamos a ver. How do I avoid going back to Mexico while waiting for green card? I came as a child.
I mean, that you might not be able to. So a lot of people, you are required to do consular processing. So if you came in without a visa and you've been here without a visa and you don't qualify for any exception, don't have a previous petition from 2001, you don't have a parole of some sort, then you probably will have to do the consular process. There's probably not a way around it. You know, you obviously want to seek a consultation. This is not legal advice. I'm just giving you some, recommendations based on this little bit I'm seeing here. But certainly want to seek a consultation. There might not be a way to avoid it, though.
Y estoy aquí en este miércoles en la oficina del abogado de inmigración Andrew Thomas porque los miércoles normalmente el abogado entrega esos permisos de trabajo. Y hoy miércoles van a llegar las personas por sus permisos de trabajo. I'm looking at your desk right now and I'm seeing so many different envelopes. What are those type of envelopes?
You know what they are. My man here's going for 5 years.
I gotta pretend like I don't know.
Pretend you don't know. Stack of green cards, stack of work permits, waiting for people to come pick them up. We have several people coming in today, tomorrow. If you're out there in TikTok land, if you're out there in Facebook land, and these belong to you, please come get them. We're so happy to be able to provide these for people. It's one of the biggest joys we have of doing this. You can always see that the practice of law can feel mundane. Mm-hmm. This is one of them that doesn't, just because each one of those represents someone's life that's going to be a little bit different.
And it's funny because people ask me, is this true? Is it real? Have you seen it? I go, yes, I've seen it myself. I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago, I don't know when it was, that I was in your office and a lady came and picked up a work permit and she literally just got on you, just held you, and was happy that she had received. And she was crying, and it gets emotional.
Yeah.
Se pone muy emocionante ver ese tipo de personas que se emocionan al recibir ese permiso de trabajo.
Definitely, yeah, it does, and we see those things all the time. Frankie can tell you the same thing. I mean, it's a joy what we do. It's amazing, but we're in there fighting the good fight all the time. I mean, my man Danny's getting the word out on Dallas radio. But if you guys do need a consultation, obviously, give us a call. Danny gives you the number all the time. You can go to our website and get that. On TikTok, let's see some more likes there, though. I think, what are we at? We're only at 3,000 likes, Frankie.
We need a little more.
We need some more. Yesterday, we had like 20,000
Oh,
likes,
my God.
So I think we can get up there. I was making the reference yesterday. It's like a jukebox. You got to put a quarter in, but then I realized a lot of people probably don't know what a jukebox is anymore. There we go. All right, so we got some more questions. We'll go through them. All right. Options for my dad, who is 54 years old, to apply for citizenship from Mexico City. I'm a citizen. So yeah, I mean, what first he needs to do is obviously move for residency. So residency comes first. You got to become a permanent resident of the United States first. If you're a citizen over the age of 21, you can petition for him. If he's in Mexico City and he doesn't have any immigration bars, should be a relatively quick process, although it might be still might take a couple of years. But then after he becomes a resident, after 5 years, he'd be able to apply for citizenship, naturalization.
Recuerden, cada caso es completamente diferente, lo repetimos porque es importante que sepa y es mejor programar esa consulta de migración para así usted puede explicar al abogado y su equipo exactamente sobre su caso. 1-800-511-3939, 1-800-511-3939. Las oficinas están en el centro de Dallas para que pueda así programar una consulta, ya que le toque venir aquí a la oficina. Ya detalladamente usted puede explicarle al abogado y a su equipo sobre su caso de inmigración.
See, we have one here. My spouse just picked up your permanent residence card from your office. Thank you for
Woohoo! Yeah!
Congrats to you. I'm glad to hear that. Always makes our day to hear those things, so glad it's all good for you. If you need any help, obviously give us a call.
Can I show something real quick? I'm not going to show no info. No info.
We got to redact.
Just so that people can get an idea. Eso es parte estos son parte de los permisos de trabajo, seguros sociales que han llegado a la oficina del abogado de inmigración, y esos son los que llegaron hoy. Tenemos esto no tiene, para que se den una idea, estamos esperando a las personas, acá hay más, a las personas que ya les llegó el seguro social, el permiso de trabajo, así que si ya les marcaron las oficinas del abogado de inmigración Andrew Thomas, aquí están esperando, por supuesto, está su seguro social, su permiso de trabajo, y esto es de las personas que confiaron en el abogado de inmigración Andrew Thomas. Recuerden, cada caso es completamente diferente. Let me put this back because then I'm gonna forget.
Danny, I see some comments on yours about you giving away Dallas Stars tickets.
Oh, of course.
Where's my ticket?
Okay, of course. I got your ticket.
Where's my ticket?
Gente, compórtense.
What's going on here?
Let me see. No, they haven't picked them up because I'm sure people are working. But, you know, if you know anyone that came to Andrew Thomas's office, tell them, and if they got a call, come pick it up.
I will say a lot of those we just got in the mail today or even yesterday afternoon. So they're out there. This is what he's showing you here is about a weekly thing that we're getting in.
Carlitas, yo acabo de agarrar este abogado primero Dios. So I guess she's a new client and she's just waiting.
Fantastic. I'm glad that we can help you. I'm glad you put our trust in us. We'll make you proud. Don't worry. I see one there if we can help people in Arizona. Yes, so we can take cases all over the United States, and we have cases. I have several in Arizona. We have several cases over the U.S. You know, once a week we do virtual if you're able to, or phone consultations. So, you know, please feel free to give us a ring. We'll be happy to go over your case with you. Thanks for the follows, everybody. The likes are always good too. We like to get those up there. Helps spread the message out. We got a good engagement. So
yeah, share the video because you know every single Facebook Live, TikTok Live, it's different. Pueden tener preguntas, pueden tener respuestas diferentes y así pueden compartirlo con la familia, con los amigos. Y por supuesto, como les dije, en las redes sociales, Attorney Andrew Thomas, ahí van a poder ver exactamente algunos de los testimonios, algunas de las personas que han venido por su permiso de trabajo, seguro social. Y siempre es bonito ver esas personas. 1-800-511-3939. 1-800-511-3939. Do you know your number? Bueno, you know your number. Él tiene un número diferente, yo tengo mi número diferente. Este es mi número.
Mine's up here, so I have a cheat sheet right above me. I got a cheat sheet right above there.
Ese es mi número. Díganle que lo escucharon en Latino Mix aquí en Dallas, 1-800-511-3939. Y así programen esa consulta de inmigración. Que no pase mucho tiempo. Es ahora cuando tienen que marcar y programar esa consulta de inmigración con el abogado Andrew Thomas.
If you guys are in the Dallas area, you also got to tune into my man Danny.
Sí, escuchen Latino Mix 107.9 y 107.1. I got everything, Dallas Star tickets, and we have tickets for this and tickets for that, but we have a little bit of everything.
Where's my tickets?
I got you, don't worry. Let me talk to management.
Yeah. I'll be waiting for that call. All right, so I have a question here saying someone has DACA. What's the easiest way to citizenship? So with DACA, what you have to understand is that's a temporary program. There's not a pathway to residency. There's not a pathway to citizenship just from having DACA. You still need a close family member that can petition for you. There's been a lot of talk in Congress that they were going to do something to help the Dreamers and make that some kind of a permanent solution. That has not happened. Unfortunately, you know, over the years we were always hopeful. We got promised a lot of things that just never come through. So as of now, you still need a close family member, you know, like a spouse with status or somebody that can petition for you.
And there was a question there, can I go to Puerto Rico with DACA? ¿Puedo ir a Puerto Rico con DACA?
I mean, it's, so yes. I mean, you do, it is a U.S. jurisdiction, so it's not, you know, you're not technically going through customs and immigration and all those things. You just always want to be careful about, you know, going through checkpoints and those kind of things, unless you have advanced parole through DACA. Right? So it's a little bit different. You might want to get a consultation before you make any travel arrangements there.
I was lived here as a child 3 years, and my visa expired when I was 15. I'm 35 and no DACA. What can I do?
All right, I got it here. Expired when I was 15. So yeah, I mean, you might be eligible for residency, but again, it's all going to depend on if you have those qualifying relatives that can help. It all comes back to that. You need kind of two things when you're looking at residency, right? So you need some type of a family member. You need a qualifying relative that can petition for you. So that's one. And two, we're always looking at your immigration history. So those two things, so, you know, family member that can help, relatively clean immigration history. Those two things are necessary to basically put together the basics of a residency process. It gets a little more complicated after that, but you just got to have those two things first. All right. Likes are going good. We got 7,000. We can always get more on TikTok. Frankie's pinging it out there. Also, go to our website, attlaw.com. You can see us there.
Ahí pueden
get more information.
Así es, en la página del abogado, attlaw.com. Tiene más información, por supuesto, conoce más del abogado y los servicios que el abogado ofrece a la comunidad aquí en Texas, tanto en Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio, Houston.
So here's a question: will Mexico fourth preference acceptance ever pick up? You've been waiting 16 years. So, I mean, I wish, but I don't see any movement on it. I mean, when you're talking about an F4 category, those things, that's a petition to a sibling. So like a U.S. citizen petitioning for their brother or their sister.
Okay.
Those are the lowest priority for immigration. So the visa bulletin's notoriously slow. They're processing those from Mexico at about, if you filed in 2001 or before, that's when you're getting processed. So you can see, what are they, 23 years behind? I'm not seeing it move any faster, unfortunately. My husband has been deported twice. Can he still apply for documents? I'm an American. Big thing, it depends. All right, it depends on when these things happened, and when you're saying deported, what do you mean by that? Because that's, it's a broad term. There's a bunch of different variations of what they call a deportation. There's expedited removals, voluntary returns, voluntary deportations. When did this happen? When did he return? Is he here in the United States? Is he outside? There's a lot of questions we got to do. It's probably going to make it more difficult, if not impossible, but you never know. That's what consultations are for. If you see us in person, it's a free consultation. If you're outside of Texas, you could call us, phone consultations, virtual consultations. We handle those as well.
1-800-511-3939. Saludos a la gente en TikTok. Busquen en las redes sociales Attorney Andrew Thomas. Ahí están sus redes sociales para que así se conecte y virtualmente pueda ver lo que hace el abogado por sus clientes, los testimonios de las personas que son importantes para que ustedes vean todo lo que el abogado ha hecho y sigue haciendo por sus clientes aquí en Texas, tanto en Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio, Houston. 1-800-511-3939.
So here's a good one from Ali Pedraza saying, my son is going to enter the Army of the United States, but he's 18. Can he process papers for you? You're his mother. So that's a great question. We get some variations on that. So when he enters the Army, he will be eligible to enter something for you called military parole in place. Even when he's 18, he can do this. So he can do that part of it. Now, if you're talking about residency, you still have to wait until he is 21 years old. But you don't have to wait till he's 21 to do the military parole in place. That can get you a deferred action. That can get you a work permit. And those things while you're waiting for him to turn 21. And then once he turns 21, you can go ahead and take that next step to residency. It's kind of a two-part answer there. Hope that helps. Look at Galito Garcia.
I was about to say, Galito.
There we go. I got a crown going on here. Some kind of filters. TikTok's odd. I'll sometimes be talking. I'll just get like a cowboy hat on my head.
There you go. There you go.
People just throw things out.
Well, you do have a real cowboy hat, right? Don't you? One?
Several of them, man. I'm Texan, man. There we go. See, look at that. There we go. Getting some more likes. Appreciate it, guys. Always good likes. You guys follow us as well. You always get notified when these things happen. We're also on Instagram, so a good place on Instagram is to send direct messages and things like that. We have a lower follower. I mean, TikTok's just wild. A lot of followers. It's not really a good way to one-on-one interact with people, but if you guys need help, if you follow us on Instagram and shoot us direct messages and things like that, me or Frankie or one of the teams able to respond to you a little quicker on that. So I don't know how much crossover there is between the two platforms, but I'm sure a lot of you out there in TikTok land have an Instagram account. We're on there, same handle. Do we have an office in Louisiana? No, so we just have offices here in Texas, but we handle cases in Louisiana. We handle cases all over the U.S. It's not just me. I know I'm up here. I'm talking all the time. It's a whole team. Danny's seen them. He's met them. Amazing team of attorneys. Great team in all of our offices, not just where we are right now in Dallas, but we have that team which allows us to do great work and to process these cases efficiently as well. Yes, we do virtual consultations for free. Absolutely.
If I have DACA and marry a resident, does that make my process faster?
Well, that would give you a process for residency. So just having DACA doesn't give you a process for residency. DACA is just DACA. It's a deferred action. It's a temporary program. I know it's been going on for a while, but it is being threatened in the courts. If you want to become a resident, you do need a petitioner. You need a close family member that can petition for you. So marrying a resident, that's a very good start. Now your spouse will be able to submit a petition for you and help you move forward. Keep your DACA current, though. You always want to keep that DACA current.
Llamen para esa consulta, programen su consulta, como dijo el abogado, en persona, virtualmente, por teléfono.
out here. There we go. Oh, guys, this is weird. We almost got 10,000 likes. We set a goal of 20,000. We're not close to that. There's a lot of people on here. Come on, like us, follow us. We're here. Can answer your questions as much. There you go.
I've been here since I was 1 year old, and now I'm 21. Any process I can do to receive a green card? I think that's what it said.
Yeah, I mean, we get a variation of that kind of
Yeah.
question a lot. I wish, but there's not really a process in immigration when you're talking about just being in the United States for some time and then being able to do something. It doesn't work that way. You know, I'll talk to people who have been in the U.S. for 30 years, and there's just not anything we can do, unfortunately, just because of their family situation. I'll talk to other people who've been here for 6 months and we're able to process for them for residency. It doesn't necessarily seem fair. It's just the way immigration is. So you do need a qualifying relative. You do need a petitioner to be able to submit some kind of petition for you, for sure. Thanks for the likes. Let's keep them going. We're over 11K now, looking good. Yeah, so we help people. I see a couple other questions, different states. We help people in states all over the U.S. Obviously, just give us a call. You know, we'll be able to work with you on setting a virtual or a phone consultation. Me or one of the other senior attorneys will talk to you directly. We'll go over your case. What I'll tell you guys both on Facebook or on TikTok, if you guys set a consultation, please bring with you all the documents you want us to look at right there. It's so important because a lot of people will leave some of it at home. They forgot. Bring it there because it makes the consultation much better, much more complete, especially if you're in court or if you've submitted a petition before. We just need a full thing of the
Cuando tengan
absolutely.
la cita con el abogado de su equipo, traigan todo tipo de documentos, porque cada documento es importante, porque ya en persona él podrá ver exactamente cuáles son esos documentos, de qué se trata, y será mucho más fácil. Así que cualquier documento que tenga, cuando venga la cita, tráigaselo, lo que tenga que ver con su caso, para que así el abogado desde el principio pueda decirle exactamente qué puede ser de su caso en el futuro.
For sure. All right.
Thank you for answering my question. I'll be calling soon. Call soon!
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, call soon. All right, so how long is advanced parole taking? So advanced parole can be difficult. They're not approving it in the same numbers as they used to be, so you really do need a really good, compelling reason as to why you should travel. But if you do have that, you know, I would say like 6 to 8 months is a good estimate, for sure. Thank you, Marianne. Appreciate it. Do you work with someone who is being detained? I mean, yes, we can. I mean, we do have some detained cases out there. A lot of times you can submit for some kind of an immigration bond or something like that to get released. If you can't and you're entitled to detained hearings, we have handled those things as well.
If I have a visa for seasonal work and it ended early, do I need to leave right away?
I mean, that's, you know, we don't handle much employment immigration stuff anymore, but if you want the chance to get that kind of a visa again in the next year, then yes, you would need to apply comply by the terms of your visa, for sure. Where are we at? 13,000 likes. We got to get it to 20,000, guys. Let's go. 20,000 likes.
What happens when incorrect information was submitted when I applied for husband? I am a citizen. What happens when incorrect information? That's just
Submitted when I applied for husband. You know, with immigration, there's a lot of times you can make amendments to applications. So if you, there we go, there's more coins in the jukebox. Hey, I want to do an informal poll. Does anybody know what a jukebox is? You know what a jukebox is?
Of course.
Yeah, you know what a jukebox is. Anybody out there know what a jukebox is? I feel like I'm
Si saben que es ese tipo de
boomer
jukebox,
term over here.
Should I tell them or should we just wait to see if anybody replies?
Honestly, okay, yeah, we have a yes on there.
Okay.
Someone knows what it is.
Jukebox es una máquina que toca música. You know, en años atrás le ponías una moneda y tocaba música. I remember those.
Yeah, it's been a while, but you put a quarter, whatever,
a quarter, and
play
you
yourself a
song.
song. Yeah.
And then if you want another song, another quarter.
Absolutely. So I give a DACA update. Looks like Enrique is asking for one. So yeah, DACA, you know, it's currently in the federal court still. It's under the injunction. I'm not optimistic at it at this point. It's back in front of the judge here in Texas who initially kind of entered that injunction, and now the actual merits of the application are up for review. So we'll see how he rules. I'm sure it will be appealed either way. As it stands right now, they are taking just renewals of people who already have it. They are not taking new applications. I mean, that's been an injunction in place for a little while now. So that's just where we stand. If there's any news, of course, I'll be out here letting you guys know for sure.
Yes, he does virtual appointments. So if you're out of state, so
Right.
I live in New York, yes. Just call the office and set up an appointment, and you go from there.
Definitely. For sure. All right. Get to a few more of these. How soon after marriage can I petition for a spouse? So there's not a wait time. So if you got married yesterday, you can technically do it today. You just have to understand that if you're submitting a petition within 2 years of your marriage, if you do get approved, you'll first be approved for what they call conditional residency. That's a 2-year residency. And then after that, you'll be able to apply to have the 10-year permanent residency. That's the only difference, really. Okay. Get the likes. We're over 15,000. I think we can get there.
So close.
Every time I kind of mention it, like, we see a little bump and then dies down a little bit. But got a good group going today. So let's get some likes.
Why National Visa Centers taking so long to process F1 visas? Their processing dates are...
Yeah, they're backed up. They're backed up with everything. Not just the National Visa Center, but USCIS as well. What you have to understand is that they were starting to get slow before the pandemic. Mm-hmm. Pandemic happens, they just stopped working for almost a year.
Wow.
And people kept filing stuff. So then they just came back to the job, picked up where they left off, and they had all that
everything
backlog.
back up.
And so it's just, they're working their way through it. They didn't do virtual work or anything like that. It was just no work.
Todo eso está atrasado, así que están tratando de llegar con todo lo que han recibido en los últimos años. O sí, están atrasados en cuestión de todo el papeleo.
You submitted a perdón in 2020. I have not heard anything. The current processing times for a waiver, we're seeing about 36 months. So believe it or not, you're kind of still in the time frame where you could see something. We have some clients that have been waiting that long as well. You probably submitted it during the pandemic. They're saying 36 months. They might extend that even. So it's taken a while for those waivers. Still a good process, just taking a while. Thank you for the likes. I think we can keep it going and get there. We're over 17,000. We'll get there.
Compartan el video con sus amigos, familiares, para que así más o menos se den una idea. Eso lo hace el abogado, para que así pueda contestar algunas preguntas. Y recuerden que cada caso es completamente diferente, y lo vamos a seguir repitiendo porque mucha gente piensa porque el caso de esta persona fue así, el mío puede ser igual. No, es completamente diferente cada caso. Así que marcar 1-800-511-3939, que ese es mi número. El abogado tiene su número y lo voy a decir ahorita: 833-733-7878, ¿ok? Esos números son directamente para las oficinas del abogado de inmigración Andrew Thomas, con oficinas en Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston y San Antonio. Y en las redes sociales van a poder ver, por supuesto, los testimonios de esas personas en estas oficinas del estado de Texas.
Definitely. So here's a question. My boyfriend is in the USA and I'm in the UK on a tourist visa, which expired yesterday. Can he help with a visa? I mean, he can help with a residency petition, but you have to be married, right? Or if you're talking something along the lines of a fiance visa, there are those types of things as well. Although I will say a fiance visa is taking a very long time to do at this point. It's almost quicker to just go through the residency process. But you do have to be married first. So you got to be married in order to do it. There goes Frankie to give a EAD away right there, it looks like.
Somebody can pick it up?
I'm assuming.
Let me go ask real quick.
All right, I'll
Maybe we can
continue
get-
on. I'll man this in your absence. I'll take the wheel here from my man Danny. So let's keep going. I'm this up a little bit. There we go. Block it. Cool. Let's go. All right. How long is required to file for an adjustment of status, a green card, if you have nothing pending? So I guess you mean what's the processing time, right? So what's the processing time on an adjustment of status? I'll tell you, it's probably about 12 months. It's a good estimate. I've seen it come less. I've seen it happen less than that. I've seen it take a little longer than that, but 12 months is a good estimate. Got to get it filed first, though.
So, Ashley is the name of the person, but their mom came to pick it up. Ashley's not here. So saludos a Ashley, la mamá de Ashley, que vino por ese permiso de trabajo en ese momento a la oficina del abogado de migración, Andrew Thomas.
Yeah, another one. There we go. Phone numbers to call us. I mean, Danny can give it to you. It's on TikTok. It's on ittlaw.com.
1-800-511-3939. Ese es mi número, pero también, I'm going to mention your number, okay?
Yeah, no worries.
833-733-7878. Ese lo tengo que ver porque yo no tengo memorizado ese número. 833-733-7878 o el 1-800-511-3939, que es en las mismas oficinas, van directamente aquí a las oficinas de la abogado de migración Andrew Thomas.
Over 20,000 likes.
Sí, already.
Bam.
Woo-hoo!
See that?
Can the citizenship test be taken in Spanish?
So it can for certain people. You gotta meet certain requirements. You have to be you gotta be over the age of 50 or 55 and be a resident for 20 years. But if those things are true, yeah, you can take it in your native language. But have to meet those things to do it.
Yeah, it's funny because she just said, or is there an age requirement? But you already answered
There's an age requirement for sure. Yeah, age and a number of years having the residency. Okay, those two things. But once you get there, for sure, you can apply for that exemption. All right. Good? Got one out, Frankie?
Yeah, they're processing one right now. I'm gonna just ask if she wants a picture, and then maybe we could do.
Yeah, we can. If she can come say hi live.
Yeah,
awesome.
might as well jump in.
Yeah.
All right.
O los miércoles es cuando normalmente el abogado entrega esos permisos de trabajo, ese seguro social, eso a sus clientes y las personas están llegando a la oficina aquí en Dallas Fort Worth para levantar sus documentos.
Do all attorneys make living will documents? So now that'll be something for an estate attorney to handle. I mean, you got to understand there's like 40 areas of the law, right? So you want to go to somebody who's focusing on what you need. And in that case, have I done a living will for a relative before? Yes, but that's not my business. I would go to an estate attorney for sure. Make sure you do your research on who you're going to. There's a lot of good ones out there, though.
Y si quieren conocer más sobre el abogado, sobre lo que él ha hecho, vayan a su página web. Ahí está un poquito más de la biografía de lo que ha hecho el abogado, attlaw.com, y por supuesto de los servicios que ofrece el abogado de inmigración Andrew Thomas.
All right. My husband was detained.
20.9 thousand likes. Woohoo!
TikTok comes through always. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. We like the likes. We like to see it keep going. We can get there. Medine, made in Texas. My husband was detained. He was deported in less than 24 hours at the border. So again, we're using the term deported. The deported can be a term of art. They're different. So if you're talking about someone trying to enter the United States and they're there less than a day, they kind of get processed and moved back. A lot of times they're not considering that a deportation. It could be considered just a voluntary return. Basically, they just tried to enter the United States and they were turned away. Very different outcome than an outright deportation or an expedited removal. He might be able to still process. You definitely want to check into that. There's ways to look into those things. Obviously, your next step would be to seek competent professional legal counsel. If you need our help, of course, give us a call. We've given you guys the numbers a few times, but you can always go to the bio there and TikTok. While you're there, follow it. But you can go there, give us a call. Go to our website, attlaw.com. Be happy to help. All right, I applied to renew my work permit back in July, but I haven't received it yet. I'm an asylum seeker. They're taking a while on them. For sure. So, obviously, provided that you were qualified to get one, it's not outside the processing time. I mean, this is kind of normal. You filed it in July, you might be waiting another few months before you actually see it, but hope for the best for you.
La primera consulta es gratis, before asking. La primera consulta es gratis. Ya después, por supuesto, ya detalladamente el abogado y su equipo le explicará si es que continúa con el caso con el abogado. Así que marquen para esa consulta 1-800-511-3939. Thank you for responding.
You got it, no problem.
Sending you 4 roses right there.
No worries. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Bernie B, thank you very much for telling people to give us a call. I appreciate it. Appreciate the engagement out there from everybody. Good crowd today. A little earlier than we normally jump on here, so.
Sorry, people, I got here early.
Waking you up, yeah. We got to work around the schedule. He's got on radio. We got radio later, right?
Yeah, I got radio.
Every day.
Every day, a partir de la 1 en Latino Mix 107.9 y 107.1 en Dallas Fort Worth. Se pueden escuchar o a través de la aplicación Euphoria.
Get you a little bit better in there. TV too, right? You still on TV?
I'm still on TV at 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
Traffic report, con el reporte del tráfico, Noticias 23.
So I gotta blame you when there's bad traffic.
No, don't blame me. I'm not
his fault.
I'm not in traffic at that time.
I'll tell you, Dallas traffic. You think it's bad? You go to Houston.
Oh my God.
Forget it.
Houston is my hometown. Yes,
I love Houston. Yeah,
Me too.
I was born down in Houston. I love Houston, but my goodness, the traffic. This is like I don't know what the situation
Where were you
is.
born? I think you told me.
Humble.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was born in Humble. I didn't live there very long.
59, which is now 69. The
Yep.
freeway.
Yep.
Right there. Yeah.
Yep, right there.
I'm on the north side too.
For sure.
So maybe we cross paths back in the day.
Probably so. I don't know. Things come back around. So yeah, if you're in Arizona or anywhere in the United States, we can help for sure.
H-Town, that's right, Pajarita. H-Town.
If you're anywhere in the United States and you need our assistance, obviously give us a call. We'll set an appointment for you, do a virtual or a phone consultation. Obviously, if you're nearby, come to one of our offices and you'll see us. We do consultations in person all the time. And I don't know if they're getting a little booked, but we have some openings available. If you guys are coming to a consultation, please bring the documents. Let us see them. Makes the consultation much easier.
And your office in Houston is in downtown Houston?
Downtown Houston.
Okay.
We actually just moved to a new suite.
Yes,
Same
I saw
building.
that. Okay.
Awesome new suite.
Nice.
Much upgraded. Love the building, but this suite is the way to go. But if you haven't seen it, come see us, obviously. So go again. Any hope for DACA? So you can see that's a recurring theme. DACA.
DACA.
Yeah. So I mean, there's always hope until there's not. I don't think it's in a good position right now, though. To be honest, it's in the federal courts. Obviously, it's under an injunction. It's currently in front of the federal judge Hannon, who was the guy who was the judge who initially put in the injunction, and now it's back in front of him with the actual merits on the table. So I don't like the chances that he's going to enter a positive ruling, but you never know. I mean, weirder things have happened. Congress has had so long to do something about it. I kind of give up hope that they're actually going to do something to help. But you never know, though. We hope so.
Can I be petitioned by a spouse if I have a DUI?
So yeah, you can. I mean, obviously, when they're looking into someone that they're going to be admitting into the United States as an immigrant, they're going to look at your criminal background. One DUI, you'll probably be okay. You know, unless there's extenuating circumstances I don't know about. Put this disclaimer out. Not legal advice, just giving general advice. Frankie, you put it out there for them. Not legal advice, just giving general advice from what I'm seeing. Obviously, you guys are asking me these little questions. I'm just trying to give you some advice. Follow it up with a consultation with an attorney, us or somebody else that's competent to give that, please. But thank you. Let's get some more likes. I think we can get to 25,000. We're almost there. Almost 23. We'll get there with the more likes. Still got quite a few folks on here.
I'm a petitioner for my mom. NBC document is accepted a year ago. But
they're still waiting for interviews. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're behind on them. They're way behind because, again, this goes back to the pandemic. They stopped doing interviews for almost a year. And so they're picking them up based on where they were and the new ones that are coming in. So you're behind all the people who were even going in there to 2020 and then they have 2021, 20. So it's taken a while, unfortunately. I know it's kind of a pain. One thing they've done to help, which is one positive step, is if you're waiting for an interview in the United States, so if you qualified to do your adjustment here, and it's through a marriage base, so if your spouse petitioned for it, they're starting to waive those interviews. They're not even making you do them anymore, which is great, because they're just processing the paperwork and getting those green cards out, which is awesome. All right.
Buenos días, buenos días.
I was attacked in California. Police hospital reports made. Attacker took to jail. Do I have a case? You might. So there is something called a U visa. U visa being victim of a crime. So obviously you have to prove you're the victim of a crime. You've been helpful to prosecution. There was injuries. It sounds like a lot of that is there from what you're telling me. So you may very well have a case for a U visa. Obviously there could be other facts you're not telling me. I'm just going based on what you're telling me. But yeah, I would seek out a consultation. You might have one. Do we work with VAWA? Yes. So VAWA is a Violence Against Women's Act. Mm-hmm. It's not just for women, despite the title. It can be any spouse, man or female, male or female, if I'm okay to say that still. Mm-hmm. But they do have that. You have to obviously be married to somebody with status or within 2 years of a divorce. But yes, we do help with those things. If the elements are there, we can help you for sure.
What comes next after seeing being reviewed by USCIS?
I mean, that's a big question. It just depends on other things in there. I mean, USCIS, it depends on what your process is. I mean, USCIS is the governing body for, all residency petitions and other immigration applications. So it just depends on what exactly your process is. Why is 751 taking so long? They're all taking a long time. They're not singling you out, I promise. But they're all taking a long time. So everything's taking a long time. One piece of advice I give everybody out there, because I get a lot of questions on how long something's going to take. And while I give this long-winded answer, let's see if we can get to 25,000 likes. So let's give the likes. Maybe I'll refuse to talk until they give me some more likes.
23,000.
Yeah, I'm going to be quiet until we see the likes.
Stay quiet. Don't say anything else.
There we go. There they come. There's a couple. They're just trickling. There we go. Okay, the likes are coming. I can talk again. What was I talking about? I lost the question.
Oh, me too.
I've answered so many questions out here.
I'm not into the messages because I'm trying to read every single message. They're going by so fast.
I know. Let me see if I can find your question. That was up here. I was just looking at it. Sorry about that. Get distracted.
Claro que sí. El número es 1-800-511-3939.
Oh, I know what I was saying.
1-800-511-3939.
Waiting time. Thank you for the reminder. That's what it's topped in the brain here. With processing times and waiting times, I get a lot of those questions. So you can ask me, you can ask another attorney, we can give you our estimates. You can get the absolute best one. Just go to the government's website. They tell you, go to USCIS, just Google that, USCIS. You'll find it, and you can find processing times. You can enter exactly what your petition is. Say it's an I-130, 601A, whatever. You can put that where you filed it, and it'll say, bam, here's the estimated wait time. And you'll have it right there. So you don't have to go based on what I'm guessing or some other attorney. We're just guessing based on our client's information. I give you the best guess that I have. That's what it is. I'm not the one processing these things. It's the government. So, get in there, look at that processing time. Looks like Mi Amorcita saying she's already passed the processing times. I see that too. So when you see those processing times, you have to imagine it's probably going to at least be what they're telling you. And those things constantly evolve, meaning getting longer. Not a reason to delay your process, because I don't see any time that they're going to get shorter. You're not going to wait for a day. Well, I'm going to wait for the processing times to reduce. I don't think it's going to happen. It's just going to get longer and longer. You got to get your petition in there to ever get to the finish line. There, look, Frankie pinging that out. He's about to deliver a permanent residency.
See if they can come over.
She don't want a picture.
Oh my God!
Some people are camera shy.
Oh my God!
If I wasn't in this job, I don't know how to be all over social media either, but it's part of the gig.
We can take the live over there. She doesn't want to come.
hey, you have no choice. Let's check it out. Well, we've been doing this live. We've coming out 2 work permits, a green card, just in this little time.
25.1K.
Boom, we hit it. Nice. K1 visa, I can talk about that for a second. Those things take a while. They're giving you those fiancé visas in order, bring somebody here with the intent to marry. You have 90 days from the time they enter to get married to them. But they're taking forever right now. Taking a very long time. Sometimes it's easier to just basically marry and go through that process and not even worry about that. Obviously, it depends on your personal circumstances. Thank you for engaging. No worries. Yeah, no. We try to answer, try to give some good advice. We're here to help. If you guys need help with consultations, your case, anything like that, give us a call. That's what we're here for. Find our number there on TikTok. We got over 25,000 likes. I appreciate that today. We did it a little early, but I see some people who were on yesterday with us. So thanks for waking up with us wherever you may be. Consultations outside of Texas. So if you need a virtual or phone consultation, just give us a call. They'll go over that with you in terms of consultation fees. When it comes to virtual or phone, there is one. I don't remember what it is, but it is based on technology costs and those things. In person, they're still free. They've always been free. They're free in person. So if you're going to come to us in Dallas, Houston, free consultation, we'll meet with you. Canadian here on a tourist visa. Is there any options to stay in the USA? So if you're talking about a family-based means, you would need someone to be able to petition for you. You're here on a non-immigrant visa under the terms. You have to abide by those terms. So you're here under tourist visa. You have a certain amount of time to stay. Make sure you're not overstaying because you could prevent yourself from doing something later. Okay. How long will it take to receive your interview letter based on an asylum? A long time. So asylum interviews, those can take 20 plus years sometimes. They're crazy. You might feel like you almost never get an interview. I've had people from the early 2000s just being set for interviews, and I've had some people very recently getting set for interviews. So it's kind of all over the board, but that is probably the one that they're most farthest behind. But look, I think we've been on here good enough, right?
Yeah. My eyes are already like.
Telling you, I'm like almost.
I'm starting to cry because I'm just looking at the screen, like trying to get the messages.
Yeah, it's great engagement. I appreciate it, guys.
Gracias.
If you have not followed us, please do so, so you get notified when these things are. We appreciate the engagement as always. If you need a consultation.
1-800-511-3939 o el mismo número 833-733-7878 que los va a llevar directamente a las oficinas del abogado de migración Andrew Thomas. Recuerden, Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, San Antonio, y él ha ayudado a varias personas fuera del estado de Texas.
Danny, good to see you, bud.
Same here.
All right,
Thank you. Feliz miércoles y estamos en contacto, mi gente, de las redes sociales, attlaw.com. Muchas gracias. Peace out.
God bless, guys.